Okay, welcome everybody to Taking It to the Nub, Season 1, Episode 27. And tonight, we got a very special guest, Jeffrey Amendola from Amendola Cigars. We're going to talk all about Italian heritage tonight. And we're gonna have some fun. Absolutely have some fun. We're going to talk cigars. We talk Italian heritage, and there's going to be some New York thrown in there. And we're going to talk about the journey that Jeffrey's been on over the last, 10 years. Jeffrey has arrived. So let me bring in Jeffrey Amendola. So Jeffrey Amendola, the owner of Amendola Family Cigars. Let me bring in Jeffrey right now. Jeffrey.
There he is. I had a panic attack. For road rage. People don't know how to drive in North Carolina.
Come on, man, you're Italian. You just,
I have agita now. I can't breathe. I need a drink.
Well. Let's start with that. What are you smoking and drinking right now?
So I'm actually doing something I normally don't ever do. I'm smoking our Cremoso, which is a Connecticut.
Yes, we're going to talk about that tonight.
Yeah, and I don't normally smoke Connecticut's after at night, but I didn't get to smoke. Yeah, I don't know why, it's weird. I didn't really get to smoke today like I wanted to, so this is sort of like my first full cigar today. Okay. And I'm drinking it with Balmore 12 Scotch.
All right.
This is good.
That is a good Scotch.
I've been trying to get into Scotch more.
So I don't have any more of your cigars in my cabinet, I found out.
You don't?
So unfortunately, I had to dig into something which is going to be close to Amendola, and that's the Espinosa 20th anniversary. So we'll keep it in the family, okay?
There you go.
Good. And I'm going to be pairing that along with a couple of things. I always like to have a little beer on the side, but I found this at my local liquor store.
Yeah. What is that?
It's a 13-year-old Speyside Scotch. I asked my friend who owns the shop, I said, is this any good? He says it is outstandingly good.
Oh.
And it comes on it's built on a rocky bluff situated above the confluence of the River Fittich.
Nice. I like that.
It's a smooth, nice amber Scotch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wash it down a little bit with a vanilla porter.
There you go.
Just
have
fun of it.
Have you had this Balmore?
I have. I like
it. It tastes like it's a little smoky, but not overwhelming. Kind of sweet. It tastes like a little sea. It tastes like sea salt, kind of like the ocean.
It's that's
at the end,
like a Speyside, right? That's
it's a what do you call it?
Island? No, is it Island?
Yeah, Island.
Yeah. So you're getting the sea. Yeah,
you're getting the sea, which is very interesting. I like it.
Yeah, I like
interesting.
I like my Irish whiskeys.
Yeah, I got some bourbon too. Yeah, I got some Buffalo Trace. I might sip on after. See how it goes.
I'm not a huge bourbon drinker, so I can't much on the bourbons.
Yeah,
certainly comment on scotches and Irish whiskeys.
Well, Scotch has been my thing lately, so I'm enjoying this.
So
and it's good with the Connecticut.
So you just got back. So you did an event, right? And
yeah,
you came flying down. What 5 or?
Well, I was on 85, but then I had to come through some back roads, and there's always one car that's leading the pack, right? That's creeping.
Of course.
And my blood is getting hot because if it was me in front of the pack, I would have been here 15 minutes ago.
Have you? We're going to get into your growing your cigar business in a moment.
Yeah.
But with that stated, have you been down to Nicaragua to Esteli?
Not yet. I've
Oh
been
my
down.
God.
I've been in Dominican Republic and other places like
Dominican
that.
Republic ain't nothing. Because go down there, because you're gonna have to go there to hang out with Espinosa.
Well, we were supposed to be there twice already this year.
Don't have panic attacks when you're there because you're gonna get behind a truck or a bus, a
I know.
2-hour drive up the mountain, and that truck just slows down and you can't get past it.
I need to be sedated to get there.
You just gotta be. Remember, it's Latin people time. You just take it nice and slow and easy. There's no rush. Everything will be there.
Right.
Right. So you just live by that.
I got to put that in my head. I'll be good.
So before you got into cigars, what did you actually do? What was your?
Yeah. So I was actually in law enforcement. I was a police officer, detective, trainer in Durham, North Carolina. But I started the cigar business like early on in my law enforcement career on the side.
Okay, so you kind of doing it as a side gig.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then it took off, and you retired.
Yeah, I was working obviously full time with the Durham Police Department, but I was hosting cigar events at first at a local bars, a couple cigar shops that let me come in, and I was just wanted to create a cigar environment, in where I lived here, and that kind of led into me starting my own brand. And then I learned how to roll cigars myself. And I started a factory underneath a coffee shop here in Durham near Duke University while I was a cop. And I actually moved a cigar roller from the Dominican Republic here for 2 years. And we were rolling cigars in his basement for a while. And then that's when things started to get kind of interesting. Wholesale accounts were coming in. We were moving a lot of products. And I kind of came to the point, I was kind of, with my career, I was at a point, I was a special victims unit detective at the time. So I was investigating child abuse cases, sexual assault cases, really messed up stuff, right? And at the same time, the cigar business was kind of picking up, and we were keeping busy. And I had to make a decision. I was going through a lot personally at that time in my own personal life, family life. So it's a good time to let go of this career and do what I really love doing, my passion. It made me happy. Awesome. So I went full time, 2016.
All right. So now back in, a little history. So I did my homework. So a little history of you and your brand. You mentioned that you you trained with Odelma.
Yeah.
I love her. I know her.
Oh, you know her?
Oh my God. I absolutely adore that woman from Ybor City. She has the best craft. If you're ever in Ybor City and you don't to her shop, then you're missing out on a lot.
Absolutely.
Tell me how that relationship started.
Yeah. So this is back in 2011, I think 2012. I had how my schedule worked out. I always had 7 days off in a row, right? At the end of the month or beginning of the month, whatever. And I was talking to some friends, and someone mentioned they kept saying, "Man, you got to go to Ybor City. You're getting into the cigar stuff. You got to go check out the scene down there, make some connections, find some rollers. You need product. Maybe you could work out a deal, get some custom blends, try them out." And that's how I picked Ybor. I never really heard it. I never knew about it, to be honest. I mean, I didn't know. All I knew was Miami, So I started researching Tampa Ybor, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I do know about that. Fuente was down there, the history. I'm like, yeah, duh. So I picked a week. I went down. I was just walking down the strip there, and I saw Adelma in the window rolling cigars.
Yep.
I'm like, this is cool. This is something It reminded me of a little factory up in the Bronx where we used to hang out. And I'm like, I got to go in here and talk to this lady. You know, so I went in, and man, her husband, her kid, her son was there. Took me in. We just started hanging out, drinking coffee, smoking. And that's when I kind of I was like, listen, I don't know if you do this, but I really want to learn how to make cigars, and I think I can learn. Good with my hands. I can pick things up, and I love tobacco. And she's like, oh, well, why don't you pick a week or two in the next couple months and come back? And I did that. On my next stretch of time off, went back down there. She was all ready for me. She had bags of tobacco. Wow. Filler, binder, wrapper. We spent all day just prepping, and I'm learning about different ligeros and secos and visos, binder leaves. And third day in, I was rolling cigars, man. I mean, she was a great teacher. She taught me everything from bunching, little blending. I kind of just took her lead on that because that's a whole nother situation. But
this is 8 or 9 years ago, and I would say I was there maybe 6 years ago, and I would say that even then her English has gotten a lot better, but she had a broken English when I was there. But she's gotten a lot better at it. But you speak Spanish, I understand.
I speak enough Spanish where we could communicate.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I would have been screwed. You know what I mean? Luckily, I spoke enough to we could communicate, Spanish and a little English. But man, that week, it got to the point where at the end of that week, they were actually selling the cigars I was rolling. Like tourists were coming in, and they were just like, "Oh, I want that guy's rolling," and I gave one to try, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll take 5, take 10." Like, this is crazy. I'm like, they look like shit, but
and they're fresh
good.
Roll, but you never want to really smoke. You don't want to smoke fresh roll, but it's okay.
No, but you know what? I like smoking them either right then or waiting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It either has to be like in the moment because it's the experience. Otherwise, gotta wait.
You grew up in New York.
Yeah, New York and then Mass. I lived in Mass for a long time.
In Massachusetts. Where in Mass were you living?
Webster, Worcester, Haverhill.
Okay. I spent 4 months in UMass General in Worcester when I was 21 years old. So
did you?
That's what I know about Worcester.
Yeah, I lived right around the corner from there, Kelly Square, for a while. Yeah, and then my family actually lives in Haverhill now, so I was in and out, and then back and forth there in New York, hopping around, and then I ended up in North Carolina 10 years ago. But yeah, I was born and raised in New York.
Yeah, you were born in Rye, New York, or you lived in?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you ever go to Palisades Park?
Of course.
All right, isn't that the place up on the cliff?
Yeah. What about Playlands? Have you ever been? You know Playland? Yeah,
that's absolutely.
My grandmother lived. We could walk there from her house.
Oh man, you were spoiled.
So yeah, it was great, man. The beach, and then you go to the park. My grandfather played saxophone in the swing band every Thursday night. So it was a good experience growing up there. Really nice.
So I saw that. So you see, your grandpa played sax, and I see in some of your photos you're at a piano. You're like Rafael Nadal with the cigar and the drink. You play piano?
Well, yeah, a little bit. I'm more like, what's his name? What's the blind guy? The Italian. Andrea Bocelli.
Oh. Well, okay.
No, I don't sing. Though. No, I actually play. I play bass guitar. I was in a band and stuff. I play bass, little guitar, little piano, play drums. Yeah. So we're actually doing a photo shoot at this wedding venue. It was an old. What was that? It was a jail. It was an old jailhouse, courthouse.
Do a little jailhouse rock?
Yeah. It was crazy. They had like all the jail cells were the guy that redid it would keep his liquor down there. Then he would open up the upstairs for the wedding venues or parties, whatever. But there's that beautiful grand piano there, and I was like, oh, I got to play something. They were just snapping pictures. I didn't even know. It was cool, yeah.
So you create, so you get into the cigar business and you start to really learn, you grow it, and create well, the brand originally I think you called was Bull City Cigar Company.
Bull City Cigar Company, yep.
And then you change it to the Amendola Family Cigar Company.
Right.
You have a mantra, okay, which says, a man who doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man.
Correct.
And you live by that.
100%.
And I want to talk family for a second, because I know something else on your Facebook page, places you've lived, and something struck me deep in my soul when I saw that. You lived in Potenza, Italy.
Well, that's where my family's from.
That is where my family is from.
No.
My great-grandfather left Potenza in the mid-1800s to come to America. There's a whole story behind that. I won't bore people with it here. You and I could talk about it on a time. But he came to the States in the 1800s. He was a violin player, actually, as a kid. But that's a whole story in itself.
Yeah, yeah.
But Potenza, now I've never been to Potenza. Have you been there?
No, but I've been dying to go. We keep trying to plan it. Like my uncles are trying to plan it. And then, life. No, but they came over in 1890, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I put Potenza because I like to envision myself there one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's my roots.
When I see people talk about, you talk about people about Italy, they'll mention Venice, they'll mention Sicily, all these places. And when I tell people that my family's from Potenza, they're like, well, where's that? I said, it's kind of in the middle of Italy, it's above Rome, and, and I've never been there. But I have a tremendous amount of genealogy research and stuff that we've been doing. And
me too.
You have family still there? Do you have relatives?
Yeah. We're it's so distant now, but yes, there were, I've been able to find a few of them actually. Now, now we have Facebook and DNA, Ancestry and stuff like that. I've kind of been doing some digging, but there were 6 brothers that left Italy, Amendolas, but they left their family there. So they kept carrying on, their Amendolas are still there. Some went to Argentina, some went to New York, and then whoever stayed. And they're actually, so Potenza, Potenza's like a province. There's a small town there called Picerno, and that's where they lived, in Potenza. Yeah.
And my family, my problem is with a name like Amendola, it probably wasn't radically changed when they showed up.
Just the accent, if you're in Italy, like when I talk to other Italian people from Italy, like that speak fluent, you would pronounce my name Amendola.
Amendola. Okay. And
that kind of got lost to Amendola. But yeah, when I do communicate with other people from, Amendola, yeah, we know Amendola's and da-da-da.
So my family's surname is Vita.
Vita.
The problem,
life.
Yes, exactly. And the problem with that name is, it's in Italy. It can either be like Smith in America.
Oh yeah.
Or it is Vitaliano,
They might have cut it.
And they cut it, right?
They probably did. Jerks.
So trying to find that connection is the hard part. And my great-grandfather, when he came over, he came here, and his sister came here, and his 2 brothers actually migrated to New Zealand.
Wow.
Because in the 1840s, there was a gold rush going on in San Francisco. There was one going on in New Zealand. So they left.
I did not know that.
New Zealand. right? And I've actually been in contact through I have family members that have been in contact, and I've also been in contact with the Vitas in New Zealand. And if I ever get to New Zealand, I know I can go hang out with my distant cousins.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Family
That's what
is special.
Yeah, and the reason I thought about just calling it Amendola Cigars, right? Amendola, and sometimes we abbreviate it quick, Amendola Cigar Company. But I wanted to put family in there because, that is important to me. And I feel like if it wasn't for my family, I wouldn't be where I'm at, And at the same time, I want to leave, I always market the brand as we're a first generation cigar manufacturing company. I want my kids to grow up and know that, hey, daddy built this, and if we want it, it's for us. You know what I mean? It's our thing. They can have it if they want. It'll always be family oriented, and we operate like a family. The cigar industry is like a big family to me, and you meet people, and whether you're just smoking buddies or you're in the industry and you're working with people, it's family. Just like that. You don't have a choice.
It doesn't take much,
No.
You put politics, religion aside, and we just sit down and lounge together. We're family. We got this.
Just family.
And
I love it. I love that.
So you get this company started now. I've known you for a few years at least. We've communicated back and forth. I've reviewed a number of your cigars. I would say most of them have reviewed very decently on my site.
Yeah.
Have a really good craft. I enjoy it. Take us through the journey of when you actually started, whether it was Bull City into Amendola Family, or what the first cigars you did, and then how things evolved to where we are today with latest the cannoli, and then we'll talk about that new cigar.
Yeah, so I'll go briefly back. Bull City Cigar Company, I mentioned earlier, we were myself and my roller Kiko, Juan Francisco Santana. We were making all the cigars ourselves. Okay, so it wasn't like they weren't packaged per se. I mean, we're rolling them fresh. We're letting them age for a couple of weeks and we're selling them. I had a little shop at the time. We sold only what we rolled, and it was great. But when we started to grow, I shifted out of being a factory because overhead got really high. Tobacco got really expensive to bring it here. My roller was moving. I couldn't do it. I just, quit my career, my real job, I say. So I started to get serious. And 2016, I had a good friend, close friend. He's like my brother. Josh Primo, he always told me, he's like, dude, you got to put your name on your brand. Everyone, Bull City's great, but he's always like, you're the brand, your vision, your passion, your dedication, your sacrifice. You should put your name on it and make it personal. And I'm like, I always fought that because I didn't want to be, I don't know, nobody knows who I am, Amendola, whatever. But I did it. I took that advice. I thought about it a lot, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna run with this. This is my baby. No one else will hustle as hard, like I do. And as soon as we changed, I went from Bull City to Amendola. Doors started to open. Wholesale accounts started coming in, and that's when we transitioned to. We were shopping for factories in Dominican Republic, Nicaragua. At first I was working with a factory down there in DR called Inter Tabac. We were doing pretty well with that. We had some issues. I had a middleman, and that got really screwed up, and we got burned a lot, lost a lot of money, lost half of our product. And through that process, we found a home in Honduras with Gabby Caffey. Somebody told me there's this guy, he's a doctor, he has a cigar factory. I'm like, interesting, And I'm like, I call this guy, talk to Gabby, and within 2 weeks we were up and producing again. he kind of worked with me because I told him, I said, look, we all of a sudden have this demand. It wasn't obviously a big demand. We're a small company and a lot of local wholesale accounts, nothing crazy, but we were progressing, and within 2 weeks we were making cigars with Gabby. And he kind of took my blends, showed me what tobaccos we had to use, was able to get that going. We started with, I kind of had a lot of cigars because when I had a shop, we were making everything for everybody. Connecticut's, Habanos, Naturals, Maduros, all these different sizes. And Gabby and I were talking. I'm like, we got to cut this back. Like, let's just get core line, 3 cigars, signature line, maybe 3, 4. Keep it interesting. And that was great. That was a good experience. I was there for we worked together for about a year and a half. And towards the end of 2019, so we had some other big stuff come up, like growth, right? Where we're all of a sudden getting asked to make 10,000 cigars for a customer or 20,000 cigars for a customer. And I've never done that for one customer before,
This
which
is
is
for like a shop or?
For a shop, we had some, which is going to be released soon, some Cigar of the Month.
Okay.
But everything got hold because of COVID,
Right.
But around that time, we couldn't. It was time to move on and expand and grow. And
Sure.
I always wanted to diversify. As much as I love being in Honduras, we were limited with some tobacco. I'm hands-on as a roller, so I like to blend, and I like to know what my resources are. And we decided to start working in Nicaragua, and that's where we are now. We joined up with Eric Espinoza and La Zona Factory. They're producing our signature line, which you had the cannoli.
Mm-hmm.
They're also making our Padrino and the Especial.
Okay.
Which has not been released yet because they're being made, and hopefully we should have them, in the next month or two. But cannoli was released first because that's going to be released in the Cigar of the Month Club, hopefully next month. Fingers crossed.
Outstanding cigar.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I love that thing, man. That little cannoli is crazy.
I don't know what he did with that. When he worked that cigar with you, I'm going to say whatever he was using for leaf, there was a little bit of that Laranja leaf in there because there's this
You get that taste?
that little orange taste,
Yeah.
which is that cannoli, the orange flavor water.
Right.
Fully. And I was like,
it's like a zest.
Exactly.
Of something, right?
Exactly.
Which was funny. I got mad at them, man, because they were we started making those like in the spring last year. And there was a group of guys, I forget the cigar group that went down there. They went to tour La Zona. The Wrecking Crew, maybe. I don't know. My distributor was there with them, so he was kind of doing some, so we're working the deal for us, so I couldn't get there. And they're going live on Facebook in the factory, smoking the cannoli, the samples. I'm like, whoa, before I even got them. They're like, man, this is a great cigar. I'm like, yeah, I wish I could try that sample. We just FaceTimed and figured it out. I didn't even get it. Yeah, it was funny, but it was a hit then, and everyone's loved it since. And now it's going to be, it's going to be out there pretty soon.
So it's going to be a core line?
So the cannoli is going to be, right now it's the San Andre box press. We're adding a Connecticut to it, around, same size. And we're test blending a Sumatra or a Habano for the other. It'll be 3.
Okay. That would be
Corona size.
Try to see how that all plays together and and the flavor profile. But
exactly, we're tweaking a few things. We're not releasing yet till it's the way I want it. But the packaging is going to be really cool because the Habano or the Sumatra is going to be a green box, green label. The Connecticut cannoli is going to be white label, white box. And the Maduro cannoli that you had is going to be a red label, red box. Put them on the shelf. It makes the Italian flag, green, white, red.
Nice.
So shops have to get them in 3.
Okay.
You know, um, so I'm excited for that. That'll come out soon. And then I think I told you we're making our core line with Aganorsa now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm smoking now.
So you had told me that you were trying to close that deal with them. So
Oh yeah.
deal's closed now. So you are
Oh yeah.
that's a done deal now.
Oh yeah, dude. I gotta send you some of these. I just have samples, no bands, nothing. We should be getting that product. We're doing the Connecticut we call Cremoso, which I'm smoking now, and it's not a mild Connecticut.
So what's that blend?
Oof. Well, so it's interesting actually. It has the Connecticut. It's the Ecuador Connecticut, right? So it has some earthiness to it. The binder is Corojo, which normally you wouldn't do, but and then the filler is all from Aganorsa Farm in Nicaragua.
Okay. Little like
And
that's gonna kick.
it's got some spice. It's creamy, but it's spicy at the same time.
Okay.
It's an interesting cigar, actually. It's great at this time too. And then we're doing our Naturale with them. That is a pure Nicaraguan Habano, Corojo, Aganorsa tobacco filler. And that's a good cigar. I love that one all the time. I think my favorite out of the lineup is it's Maduro, but in Italian we call it Maturo, Maturo. That's Corojo 99 wrapper, Corojo binder, and all Aganorsa farm. And it's pretty outstanding. I'm spoiled. I know I'm a little biased, but I don't want to smoke anything else. Right? It's so good.
It's been good, you know. I always tell people when I had this little birthday gig of mine last year, and I created 100 Boston Jimmie cigars that I had blended.
Oh yeah.
And I picked the blend. I knew what I wanted. I didn't have time to deal with back and forth because we were running out of time. I was doing it with Providencia Cigars and the factory they work with in Honduras.
Okay.
I left it in their hands and I said, "Here's the blend, and here's what I think it should provide in flavor. Go make it happen." And they were able to actually source some of that leaf from Plasencia, from Florida. And when those cigars came in, I was rather impressed with what I just said do. And once you do that, you know, I was supposed to get more, already, but pandemic and all of that.
Yeah.
Down. So should be getting another 100 or 200, whatever I'm getting in, another few more months. And I can't wait to get it because people.
That's awesome.
I said, you can't, and everybody wants to buy them. And I said, they're not for sale. It's a calling card.
Yeah.
Boston Jimmie private stock,
No, I'll trade you.
We'll
make a trade.
I just give you one when I see somebody, or I give them out at the show, and as part of the raffle sometimes. But I'm only down to a few, and it's like I look at them, I'm like, I love them, and I'm like you. If I had my cigars around me all the time, my cabinet would be filled with Boston Jimmie.
Right.
It's like my.
It's
baby.
like I try to smoke I like to smoke other brands. I like to support other brands, and I enjoy a lot. But after we got these samples in, I'm just kind of like, I don't want to smoke anything else. But right now, I just want to soak it all in and taste everything. And, I'm kind of like, wow, we created this all beautiful thing. It's so great. I got to soak it all in for a while. That'll last.
So when you blend, what are some of your more favorite leaves to work with in your blends? What do you enjoy?
That's a good question. So lately, I've been enjoying more Nicaraguan tobacco. And when we did make the switch over there, it just kind of made sense. I'm like, yeah, this is what I really like. I really like. I like full flavored tobacco versus strong. So if that makes any sense.
Sure. Yeah.
There's some profiles where you smoke a cigar and it's like so powerful, a lot of pepper, strength is like, whoa. I like tobacco that has more of that flavor, like a strong flavor. So I like some spice. We'll get that from some of the jalapa, the Ligero and Esteli jalapa. Jalapa I love because it's just so rich. It has this, a layer, a dynamic layer of profile. But I try to find tobaccos and put them together that focus more on flavor versus strength.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Absolutely. So if you think about flavor, so I'll ask you a question I've never asked anybody else.
Oh boy.
Okay. So we're going to get some education here for everybody. You talked about some of your previous blends. So let's talk about Corojo 99. What is the profile of Corojo 99 all by itself? What is that?
Okay. Yeah. It's a good question. So, man, that I think it's becoming one of my favorites. It is, from my perspective, it's leathery. It tastes like espresso. It tastes like raisin or prune. It's earthy and kind of has that what do you call that it's a texture thing, but it's kind of toothy. Mm-hmm. That comes through with the smoke, like earth.
Right, earth.
And I smoked one last night with the scotch, and all I got was like this rich, coffee, earthy, sweet, peaty profile. Okay. And I'm like, this is fantastic.
Okay, how about Sumatra?
So there's a few different types of Sumatra. One I don't care for so much is the lighter Sumatra. And that's just a personal preference. It tastes a little dry to me, like hay. That's not something I look for, per se. Now, when you have some of the darker Sumatras that have been aged a little more in the sun, those to me almost taste sweet.
Yes.
In a way, without being flavored.
That's why a good Sumatra with a Connecticut tones down the bitterness of the Connecticut.
Yes. And I love that.
And now Connecticut, well, how would you describe an Ecuadorian Connecticut versus a U.S. Connecticut?
I could get a little, I don't want to get too complicated. When we were rolling cigars here, I had a customer, we were doing a private label for him. We had gotten two different types of Connecticut wrappers from the U.S. One was the color, it was almost this color. I don't remember exactly the seed. It's just a regular Connecticut from here. It was good. Then there was this other Connecticut that was almost yellow, like bright
golden yellow
from the Connecticut farm.
Right.
It was 3 times the cost per pound, but it tasted like honey almost. It was so good. It was like the guy smoked and was like, "Oh, everyone loves this. It tastes like candy to them." I'm like, "Yeah." We ran out of that, couldn't use it. That was awesome, and I forget what grade or what seed that was. But then you have the Ecuador Connecticut, which I've become to really enjoy. Right. Because it's milder, but it has some sort of, in my opinion, depth to it. It's thicker. It's a little bit more leathery.
Okay.
And I don't say grassy, but it has more substance, I think. And the soil down there, whatever, is. I really like Ecuador Connecticut. And on top of our Connecticut, on top of the Corojo, really tastes good together. I'll tell you that.
How about San Andreas?
I love San Andreas.
How do you describe that profile?
Earth and coffee and cinnamon.
I get fruit also in it.
I get a little fruit.
I
Get a little fruit off that.
But cinnamon for sure. Yep. And the
All
difference,
right.
like when you think of flavor profiles, can you distinguish the difference between citrus and cedar?
Yes.
Okay, because sometimes those two kind of move in your palate.
That's why I retrohale.
Yes.
That's where I can figure it out.
There you go.
I have to retrohale for that.
So now, when did you start smoking cigars?
I dipped and dabbled. I got a cigar off a roller's table when I was like 18 in New York. I didn't know what I was doing. But all the old Italian guys were sitting around drinking coffee and eating cannolis, and I wanted to be like them, so I smoked one. I got really into it, honestly, when there's what's that place? I was at a Yankee game. I was at Yankee Stadium. This was back, I was like 23. I was at a Yankee game. Someone handed me a cigar after the game, and I was in this little shop lounge called Papa Juan's.
Huh.
In that experience, I don't know if it was the excitement from the game, the cigar itself, or the vibe the people I was with. I was like, I really like this. This is a thing. A year or two after that, I moved to North Carolina, and that's where, when I moved here, fully, it was my thing. I started really sitting down and enjoying a cigar. I was in the police academy at the time. So every night, not every night, Friday night, Saturday or Sunday, I was just sitting on my porch, and that was like my woosah moment. And that's where I got heavily immersed, and I've realized I love this thing that we do.
Do you remember the first premium cigar that you smoked?
Yeah. It was a Fuente. It was a Chateau.
Double Chateau?
Double Chateau.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
And
back in the day.
I just remember that I was like, this is just fantastic.
Sweet cedar.
Yeah.
Just was absolutely. I went through boxes of those back in the day.
Yeah. And I remember I didn't smoke it all. I didn't smoke the whole thing. I remember I smoked about half of it. And then, one of the guys was like, don't mash it out. Go home and finish it. I'm like, all right, I might do that. So I did. And I enjoyed it was just awesome. And I was like, I want more of this. I want more of this.
I remember having one of those once. I was at a shop and I picked one up, and I left the shop. It was still fine. It was the long one. It wasn't the short one. It was the long one.
Yeah.
So about halfway through with it, when all the flavor was kicking in and everything was beautiful, I walked out of the shop and got in the car, started the windows down. I'm just driving down the road, very relaxed, right? Had a couple minutes, right? Got my hand out the window like this, and the cigar slipped out of my hand. And that was one of those experiences. It was like, oh man, and that was back in the day. I didn't have a lot of stash, so it's like
right.
Cigar of the day, and it just ended on the road, and I was like
just
so pissed off. And the shop was closed, and I'm like, God, I just have to. No.
You killed the vibe.
Yeah, and I had to go get one. I also enjoyed. I remember enjoying the other one. I enjoyed from Fuente. I always enjoyed was the short story.
Oh yeah, I love that one too.
And that was just like it's like having a Hemingway. And then just you get to the nub and you're like going, why don't I just buy a Hemingway?
Yeah, seriously.
But it was.
I do. What's that one? Is it the Hemingway? Yeah, it's the longer one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Love that cigar.
Short story is just the Hemingway.
The shorter.
The short Figurado, right?
I love the Hemingway. Even now, I want to smoke. I still smoke them.
And we talk about this on the show numerous times, how Fuente when you just think about cigar companies and their products, I mean, you buy a Hemingway, a short story, a double chateau, these cigars today off the shelf, and if you remember them from 10, 15, 20 years ago, that cigar still tastes the same.
And that's why I do it, because it's like nostalgia for me.
Yeah.
It brings me back. I'm like,
I mean, they're able to produce the same flavor profile of year after year. You know, so it goes up and down, changes ever so slightly, but it's basically the same profile.
Sure.
When you're doing your cigars, you know, and I look at that as quality control at the flavor level, right? And then quality control of the burn level. How do you oversee and ensure that your cigars have that burn quality and that flavor quality batch after batch, year after year?
So that's a good question. It's funny because we just were talking to people at the factory about that. And so two things I think that we've come up with. One, you still have to stay somewhat small. Yes, grow, expand. We want to make 1 million cigars a year, sure. But in order to keep the integrity of what we have right now, we can't do that too quickly. Okay, the fact when I speak to the it really comes down to the tobacco, right? You're always going to have every crop 5 years, every 7 years, 3 years might change a little bit, but you could keep the integrity of the profile because you're not doing mass amounts of cigars, so you can monitor that. But then the other way to do it is to be like a Fuente or a Padron or an Aganorsa and have your own farms, because they know what's being grown, they know what's coming in, they know what they have. Am I on that level yet? No. But I'm working with people like that, you know. Yes. So their feedback is right now, you know, and I get concerned with blends because, you know, I don't want anyone else to make the same cigar that I'm making, or somehow that get leaked over into something else. You're at a factory, they're making X amount of cigars for other brands. So we have a deal with both our factories now that, you know, these cigars are Amendola blends only. No one else can use them. No one else will use them. They are ours. The feedback I get is that the only time that you would have to start really overseeing and managing more to keep it is when you start producing over 1 million cigars a year. Because at that point, you're getting extra rollers, you're buying extra tobacco, there's more going out, you know, you have to monitor that closely. But, you know, Padron has it on lock. Fuente has it. It's lockdown. They have complete quality. They have control over everything.
Right.
That's awesome. I would love to do that one day. But, you know, that's how some of those brands stay very consistent over years, decades, because they're doing the same. They're growing it from seed to table to shop. It's the same thing. So
when you talk about growth, when I look at your footprint, I notice that North Carolina is your largest footprint. That's your home base.
Mm-hmm.
You have a ginormous list of shops you're in North Carolina. Being from New York, you got a little footprint.
Yeah.
What's going on in New York?
So a couple things. New York, when I first started to branch out and start to look for wholesale outside of North Carolina, New York's a tough area to get into. The taxes are really high. If the shop owner's feedback typically is, if you don't have a product that's going to sell, they don't want it. Like, sell in the first 30 days. So as a new brand, the feedback was, man, you know, we can try, but, you know, you got to come up here and do events. You got to, if it doesn't sell in 30 days, they get taxed again on it. They don't want product that sits on the shelf. And
Hmm.
new brands, they're very skeptical of, unless you're living in New York, you could push the brand out of the shop, one day a week, 2 days a week. So, we ended up in Harlem Cigar Room.
Like that
Uh,
place.
I love Harlem Cigar Room. A couple other little ones, they're doing well. But we're starting to branch. We're starting to open that door up. So I got to give a shout out to my business partner, Chris Monaco. He actually he became part of the company full time in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
He was working for me as a sales rep the year before in 2019, and we're from the same area in New York, Westchester, Italian. Um, he told me when I met him, he was like, "Listen, man, I want to get in the industry. Everyone tells me that when I meet new people, sometimes like I want to do this, I want to." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, sure." I gave him some cigars, and he actually, within like 2 weeks, he got us two of our biggest accounts that are based out of New York, which is Atlantic Cigar Company, or Atlantic is the website, online store.
Right.
They own, wow, I'm drawing a blank. Cigar Republic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
They have the store in Westchester, in Yonkers area, Elmsford, and one in Danbury, Connecticut. And they're about to open up a few more brick and mortars. But that was our biggest account because we got on. He got us into Atlantic online and then into the brick and mortars. That started opening up some more doors in New York, right? So I'm like, cool. All right, now you got Chris. He knows the area too, so we're hitting it hard. And we got into a few: Long Island, Harlem, Elmsford, and then right over into Danbury, Connecticut. We got some upstate too. It was tough. New York's tough, man. Like they're tough.
Yeah.
But we're still pushing. We're supposed to be doing a. Chris is a member of the Barrel Burners Cigar Club, and we were supposed to be doing their yearly event, which was supposed to take place last month in Jersey, and because of everything going on right now, it got pushed back. But I want to be in New York really bad, like all over the place.
In New
But
Jersey, New Jersey.
and Jersey,
Yeah.
yeah, Jersey, PA. So Chris is leaning more on that area because he has a lot of connections up there. Best cigar prices we've been working with. They're in PA. Yeah, New York's a tough one. I tell you, the market.
How far? I didn't go through the whole list because the North Carolina just kind of
Yeah,
like a tornado. It's like boom, or a hurricane. It's like boom.
right.
But how far west have you gone?
We're in Oklahoma City, Texas, Ohio. We're getting ready to open up an account in Idaho, actually. We're working with, the guys from, do you know the guys from Illusione?
Yeah.
Brian. Brian's our like older brother, uncle. he's my guy. But they have distribution out west.
Mm-hmm.
They're in Vegas, so he loves. He's taking us under his wing. We're talking to a couple shops in California now that are just waiting for our product. Idaho is just waiting. Small batch cigars. We're trying to work a deal with them out in Cali. So we'll be, I think, in the next 5 to 6 months, we'll have more of a presence out west. But we're Midwest right now, I guess you could say.
You get Michigan.
Nothing out there. Yeah.
Nothing in Michigan.
Ohio, Oklahoma, Texas, Idaho.
Go reach out to Don Yayo Cigars in Dearborn, Michigan.
Okay.
Don Yayo. Jimmy said hi. I know them well.
Okay. Indiana. We're in Indiana.
They're a great shop. They're a really, really fine shop. They carry a lot of small brands and big brands, so they cover the gamut. The manager that runs that, he's actually done a really good job over the last 4 years on bringing in some smaller brands.
Oh, good. Okay.
So definitely check that out.
See, that's the thing. We're trying to find retail partners that, really, we don't want to get lost, right? as a brand. We don't want to sit on a shelf and get lost. We're trying to find retail partners that believe in the brand, love our product, appreciate our product, or the craft, and really kind of see what the potential we have as a young brand and what we're capable of doing and putting out on the market, which I think right now we're at a point where we are putting cigars out on the market right now that can compete with just about anybody out there. I feel very confident in that.
Based on what I've had, I'm not going to disagree with that.
Yeah, and it took me a while to get there. Like I always felt like we had some solid product, and we did, but this time I feel like we've kicked it up a couple notches, and it's at a point where I am very comfortable saying that I would put this up against your favorite cigar, and it'd be hard for you to say you didn't like it.
Well, I think your alliance and collaboration with Aganorsa and Espinosa will help that footprint tremendously, because
Yeah.
got a lot of shops that carry their lines and carry and make for others. So
Right.
now, are you planning to go to either the TPE or the PCA next year?
Yeah, so we were actually yeah, we're it yeah, so they moved the TPE, right?
Yeah, that's in May.
So when it was in January, we were gonna go. We were gonna have a booth next to Aganorsa. We decided not to in January because I realized it's almost October, and we've had issues getting product here. So we are, and you know what's crazy? Our production we just did, we sold 80% of it already without even having it. Pre-orders. 80% of our production is gone, which is awesome. Thank God. Like, that's a blessing. But then Chris and I were talking about it, and we're like, dude, if we just sold 80% of our production, we'd have to like double or triple our production now to be able to go to TPE.
So now you got.
So we have time. So now we're trying to figure out, all right, is this time enough? It might be. We're 50-50 with it now that it's in May. I think it's good. We're going to see how it goes by December, I think, where we are, how quick can we get product. We're selling out of what we're making. Will we be able to show up and represent Amendola the right way?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, that's important.
Yeah, because we don't want to do it half-assed. We don't want to show up, and we don't want to take pre-orders while we're there. We want to be able to, all right, you come up to our booth and you want to do a deal, we'll say, yeah, your order is going to be shipped out next week.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll kind of feel that out by December. If we're not comfortable yet with the way production and shipment is going, my decision is to just wait one more year and then do the TPE when we are like a well-oiled machine with production, shipping, distribution. I don't want to rush it.
So Luke Kelly, one of my followers, asked the question, where in Ohio can he find your cigars?
B&G's. I don't remember the town, but if you look up B&G's cigar shop, it's north of Cincinnati.
Okay. So
there's two shops. I can't remember the other one. Go to the website. I think it's on our website.
Okay, and your website is Amendola Family Cigars or Amendola?
AmendolaFamilyCigars.com. If it's not up there, it's because it was a newer account. But look up B&G Cigar Shop.
Okay, very good.
In Ohio, yeah. And if you do want to try, we have our cannoli cigar is online right now at AtlanticCigars.com. You can buy singles or bundles. And Best Cigar Prices has them too, the cannoli. And some of our previous production, we're trying to move out and clear space for the new stuff.
Awesome. Thank you. So that answered the questions. Just going through the list here, see if there's any other questions that were coming in.
Yeah.
People watching. That's okay. That seems to be it. Some quirky comments. You can read the comments later on this.
Quirky.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
They pulled the Godfather on you, Jeffrey.
Who did?
I don't know. You got to look at where it is in the feed. What must
Yeah.
comment I made?
Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah.
That's it. That's how it works. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Right? Yeah, there you go. That's it. So great. We're past the 15 minutes past the hour. This has been great. I gotta connect with you and talk some more.
Yeah.
Things and
Definitely.
thank you very much for being able to rush out of an event to come to this.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I appreciate it, man. I thank you for having me on the show and all the reviews you've done and giving us the time. I appreciate all that.
Yeah. So it's all these. Oh, which one are you smoking, Jimmy? I am not smoking an Amendola. If you caught early, I actually fired up an Espinosa 20th anniversary cigar.
Close enough.
Which is close enough because Jeffrey's working with the Espinosa family right now for his blends. So I ran out of his cigars. They're too good not to smoke. That's the problem.
I gotta send you some of these samples, man. But you can't put it out there yet.
I'll just give you feedback on it.
Yeah, give me feedback. Then I'll send you in the pack. So we updated the packaging too. And I give credit to my business partner, Chris Monaco, for that. He took the time to upgrade, and it took a lot of time, and he killed it. It's awesome. Excellent. So you'll see that too.
Chris Colter says, my first look into Amendola cigars, looking forward to trying some now.
Awesome. Do it.
And we're just going to give a little talk about what's new on Stogie Press. The first thing is cigar reviews of last week. What's important here is the H. Upmann 175 anniversary. 175 anniversary cigar. I rated this at 93. This is a magnificently beautiful, oily wrapper. I put in here some pictures just so you can see something special about H. Upmann. So this is the 175th anniversary of H. Upmann. This cigar here, though, is now 112-year-old H. Upmann box press Cuban Solomon that I was able to actually hold in my hand when I visited the James Fox and Company in Dublin, Ireland. So H. Upmann's been around a very long time. We'll give a little history about it. But this is an absolutely stunningly beautiful cigar made by, who else? A.J. Fernandez. All right. And it's all Nicaraguan Puro. It's got a medio tiempo wrapper on it. This cigar had a beautiful pre-light. The foot here is not only wrapped with a kind of a cardboard sleeve, but also has this little footer cover on it. Also, it's a beautifully dressed cigar. Had a nice burn, beautiful burn cone, very nice ash. The only thing really that happened with this is that there was a slight wave, and it was a medium volume of smoke in the first third. So getting through the first third, this is a Churchill, and getting through the first third, it was kind of just medium in volume. I usually like a little extra volume on the front end. So they lost a couple points for that between those two. But overall, I would buy a box of these. These are $18 and worth every penny. So I would definitely say if you want to check something out, check out this H. Upmann 175 anniversary. The next cigar we did was the Cigar Clowns. Now, this is the Cigar Clowns cigar that just came out. This is the drop. They have now already sold out. So like I said, if you want in on these cigars, join the Cigar Clowns Facebook group, and you're going to get some special stuff. Again, we don't know where it comes from. We don't know the factory. We don't know anything about it other than the blend. They actually gave this one a name. They called it the Carletto, and Carletto is was an Italian English clown, very famous clown. So I give a little history about Carletto in here. And this one here wasn't as spectacular in my book as the first drop I had, which was their second. But still, this was a very nice cigar. Burned very beautiful. It did have a little bit of a burn wave to it and a kind of a little off-scented burn cone. So a little bit on the burn issues, but flavor-wise, you're getting pepper, you're getting sweet plum in this, cocoa, cream, dark chocolate, butter, and spice running through this. This is just going to light your palate up without a doubt. So if you're looking for flavor, this is a cigar. These were $9 in 5 packs. So $45 for the 5-pack, but they're sold out. I'm sorry I keep doing these to you guys, but you get an opportunity, you can understand what happens if you actually get part of the cigar clowns. The next review we did was on the Villiga do Brazil Maduro. This one here came in at 94. I've smoked a few of these. The first time I smoked this one was back right after TPE. I felt it wasn't ready. It was definitely needed some age. I smoked it again, 2 of them over the last couple of weeks, and this rating is based on the aging of that cigar. So this one right in here it's a Brazilian Puro. You can read the review, the history on this, what they did. This is in their new factory that they built in Brazil. So this is the Brazilian Villiga factory it comes from. They come in these 5-count boxes. These are about $9 and $9.50 depending upon the Robusto or the Toro. Again, very beautifully constructed cigar. Had a really decent ash, decent burn cone. And really what happened in this one was just basically had a wavy burn. You could just see where that burn kind of started waving in spots, but never really needed a touch up. Other than that, there's nothing wrong with it. Definitely, if it was in a full box, I'd buy the full box of these. These are a very nice cigar with great, flavors, pepper and citrus and cocoa and earth, some floral notes. I actually noted here, which is interesting, if you ever had the CAO Amazon Basin, the original Amazon Basin, this actually has kind of an early profile of the Amazon Basin. So if you like that cigar, this one is going to be very similar on the beginning of this cigar. The last one we did was the Viaje Amuse Boucher. Okay, this one here, it's a Viaje. I've yet to get a bad Viaje in my book. So this one here actually gets some bonus points on it. This is comes in these 10-count bundles, and it's a Nicaraguan Puro. It uses a Habano Claro wrapper on it. It comes in 1 Vitola or 4.5 by 48 Robusto, so it's kind of a narrow, short Robusto, but you get a lot for that. And when I say a lot, you get a nice burn. This burn comes in beautifully, and you get pepper, citrus, sweet cream, oak, and espresso, cinnamon, cocoa. This thing just kind of rolls around. These notes in center here just kind of play off each other as they go through very nicely. It did have a mild wave, like I said earlier, to burn, but I would just buy a bundle, and I had a couple of these already, and they just are pleasurable in these multiple samples I've had. So this is a solid 95 in my book, all the way down to the nub. So that's the reviews on Stogie Press. When we go look at the news on Stogie Press, there has been a little bit of news this week. Starting with today, I put out the fact that McAuliffe Cigars has severed their ties with big online cigar shops. So that was kind of a bold move on their part. They severed their ties with Meyer and Dutch, Cigar.com, Thompson, and Cigars International. And you can read the article. There's other articles out there from other media that covered this. Basically, they are sticking to their guns to take care of brick and mortar, especially in this pandemic. They have numerous different programs to help out the different lounges as they go along. So if you like McAuliffe Cigars, you're going to find McAuliffe Cigars at brick and mortars. If a brick and mortar has an online presence, that's okay. And if they are part of their McAuliffe Partner Program, you'll be able to get any McAuliffe cigar by contacting that shop. And if it's in the McAuliffe inventory, even if it's not in the shop, they will drop ship those cigars directly to you. So McAuliffe is doing a great job on this program. I also pushed out the Taking the Nub Cigar Clowns episode number 25 a couple of weeks ago. That's out there now on the YouTube channel. Maya Selva announced yesterday that their Villa Zamorano, which was one of my best picks for Honduran cigars, believe it or not, won the 2020 Best Value Award for the Honduran cigars at this year's Cigar Journal Cigar Trophy Awards. So congratulations to Maya Selva. That company's been around for a long time, and this is a great value cigar. So definitely worth it. Daniel Marshall had announced early in the year about this collaboration with Carlos Fuente on the 28th anniversary of the 38th anniversary cigar. And what that was celebrating the 38 years that these two have had a relationship in the cigar industry. What they did here is they've announced that they're sending out anniversary cigar sets, and they have included in that not only a number of shops around the world that are selected and certain hotel lobbies, high end, but they've also collaborated with Rolls-Royce on this. This is a cigar that the average Joe is probably not going to get their hands on, but it's news. I cover it. This box can cost anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000, depending upon where you are. That's roughly $200 a cigar. I know, crazy. Michael Jordan bought them, okay? But what happens is there are some benefits in here if you have the money to spend. And this last cigar right here is actually covered in 24 karat gold, which you can actually smoke. It has 2 grams of 24 karat gold, and when you're done, the gold itself is probably worth $125. So that is the news. Whiff Industries announced that they're partnering with Quality Importers Trading Company to expand their footprint in the market. So if you like Whiff Industries products, I do. Many people out there do. You're going to find these in more shops and more outlets because of their collaboration now with Quality Importers Trading. And Protocol Cigars announced their limited edition 5 Families cigars. What they did is they're paying homage to some of their favorite media, Facebook groups, if you will. Fat Ash, Smokehouse Gorillas, congratulations, Distinguished Ruffians, the Brothers of the Leaf Pennsylvania chapter, and Sheepdog Cigar Club. So they've all worked together. This is called the 5 Families. They're hitting the shelves now. These are $99 a bundle, and they are being announced that they're going to be on sale at Famous Smoke Shop in Easton, Pennsylvania on October 3rd. Any ones that are left over will then be available for go on sale if there's any left. So that is news from Protocol, and I believe I touched this last week, maybe not. So this one here, yeah. So El Artista has joined. This is an interesting article. So El Artista was part of a 38-member Dominican Republican tobacco delegation where they talked to the Dominican president, And Radamés Rodriguez, the president of El Artista, he's one of the youngest tobacco manufacturing owners on the islands. And he actually put out a letter and did a little talk. And the full text of the letter, you can read it in here, is very well written. There's some things we can learn just by reading this about what they're dealing with and how they're trying to handle the tobacco industry moving forward. So that is the news and reviews on Stogie Press. When you, every week on Friday, we're going to put out an email blast in case you haven't got online to check it out, of all the latest reviews for the week, for the past 2 weeks, what's going on with the latest news, the latest Take It to the Nub shows that have been pushed out to YouTube, and be able to see it all there. If you're not a subscriber, obviously you can always go to Stogie Press and subscribe to Stogie Press. And what's important is, as we go forward, we're going to be, you could just subscribe here, simple subscription. We changed this to make it easy so you don't have to go crazy with it. We're going to have subscriber-only contests and giveaways going forward. So if you are a subscriber, you'll get that email blast, and occasionally you're going to get an email blast that is going to get you into a contest if you want to join just for subscribers. So again, my wife would shoot me if I did not bring that up because she worked hard on putting all that together for me.
Nice, nice.
She's always doing better things back end for Stogie Press. Well, I write the article. She just makes it look beautiful. That's her job. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jeffrey, for joining.
Thanks for having me.
We'll catch you next week. Next week, we will have Shorty Rossi is next Saturday. So if you don't know Shorty Rossi, you're going to want to know Shorty. Shorty is was the founder of, he's known as the Pitbull. He had the Pitbull channel on Animal Planet. He does Pitbull rescues, and he's a huge cigar aficionado. One of his cigars, he deals with Diesel. They make the Diesel Shorty. That's his cigar. Okay?
Nice.
After that, we're going to have Francisco Almonte from DBL on. And we're going to...
Good guy.
Good guy. Francisco will teach an awful lot on that show because he's one of the most knowledgeable cigar guys in this industry. So tune in next week, 7 o'clock again for Shorty Rossi. Thank you again, Jeffrey. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, bro.